Historical background of Malaysia Orang Asli. The Orang Asli name is a Malay term which means as original people or first people. In Peninsular Malaysia, Orang Asli were the earliest population to have lived in Malaysia since approximately 5,000 years ago. It is believed that most of them came from places such as China and Tibet, which followed the migration routes from the mainland of Southeast Asia. The Orang Asli kept to themselves until the first merchants from India arrived in first millennium. Living in the inlands, they bartered inland products like resins, incense woods, and feathers for salt, cloth, and iron tools. The rise of historical pre-Islamic Malay kingdoms and later Islamic sultanates not only integrated but also Malayanized most of the historical Orang Asli population into their community, thus becoming the ancient ancestors for many present-day Malay people. While other Orang Asli groups choose to avoid contact with outsiders by retreating further in the inlands, the arrival of British colonists brought further inroads in the lives of Orang Asli. Christian missionaries had even targeted the Orang Asli to become subjects of their anthropological research. Slave raids into Orang Asli settlements were also quite common feature back in the 18th and 19th century. These slave raiders were mainly local Malays and Bataks who considered the Orang Asli as kafirs, non-humans, savages, and jungle beasts. He stated that the strategy was basically to swoop down a settlement and then exterminate all the adult men. Women and children were captured alive as they were supposedly easier to tame. The captive Orang Asli slaves were either sold off or given to local rulers and chiefs to gain their kindness. Slave trade soon developed and even continued onto the present century despite the official abolition of all forms of slavery in 1884. Until the middle of the 20th century, the offensive term sakai, which means slave or dependent, was frequently used to refer to the Orang Asli. Many of the elders of Malaysia Orang Asli still remember this sad period in their history where they were often being called as sakai. During the Malayan emergency, which lasted during 1948 to 1960, the Orang Asli became a vital component of national security as their help enabled the Malayan army to defeat the communist insurgents. Two administrative initiatives were introduced to highlight the importance of Malaysia Orang Asli, as well as to protect their identity. The first initiative was the establishment of the Department of Aborigines, now known as the Department of Orang Asli Development. It was established in 1950. The second being the enactment of the Aboriginal Peoples Ordinance in 1954. After the independence of the nation on 31st August 1957, the development of the Orang Asli became a prime objective of the government, and in 1961, a policy was approved to integrate the Orang Asli into the broader Malaysian society.
Important elements and information of Malaysia Orang Asli. Orang Asli, which means Aboriginal or native people in Malay, are not a homogeneous group, and it is actually the collective term for 18 ethnic subgroups with an estimated 150,000 people in Peninsular Malaysia. That is actually only about 0.5% in the whole of Malaysian population, and they are mainly agricultural or forest-based. In Peninsular Malaysia, the Orang Asli are generally separated into three primary tribal groups, which are the Negrito, or also known as Semang, the Senoi, and the Proto-Malay, or also known as Aboriginal Malay. These groups are different in terms of language and also as they have each unique cultural characteristic. Between the three main tribal groups, the group that is the most similar in appearance to Malays would be the Proto-Malay. Some have even converted to Islam and are being influenced by the Malay society. When it comes to the religion of Malaysia Orang Asli, it all started off with Orang Asli believing in animism, which is the belief that spirits are present in inanimate objects. And there were also a group of tribes, there were also some tribes who believed in shamanism, which is actually related to the spiritual world as well. This has been going on for a very long time until in the recent years, a small percentage of them started to embrace two of the major religions of the world, which are Christianity and Islam, as a result of missionary presence and state-sponsored programs. The percentage of Malaysia Orang Asli who believe in Islam have been steadily increasing as the years go by, especially among the Proto-Malay group. A case had happened back in June 2007 when an Orang Asli church was allegedly torn down by the state government in Gua Musang, Kelantan. Later on in 2008, a suit was filed against the Kelantan state authorities by the Orang Asli. The affected Orang Asli also sought a declaration under Article 11 of the Constitution of Malaysia that they have the rights to practice the religion of their own choice and to build their own prayer house.
Recent developments of Malaysia Orang Asli. Over the centuries, many of the Orang Asli have developed different thinkings and different beliefs. First of all, they have learned to embrace monotheistic religions such as Christianity and Islam. When the Orang Asli came to realizations of the existence of others' cultures and beliefs, they were slowly influenced by others' cultures and religion. This caused a culture change and also difference to their living style. In 21st century, most of the Orang Asli parents started to send their children to school because they know the importance of education in the future. Traditionally, Orang Asli do not wear clothes and they will keep moving their house. When it came to 21st century, the living style of Orang Asli changed. They learned to wear clothes and learned new skills to produce more products for sales. They slowly get to involve in the politics and economy.
Besides that, Orang Asli has helped to build up Malaysia's economy by supplying the rubber, oil palm, and cocoa. It's helped to improve the economy of Malaysia and also helped their race to build up a better place, better education, and health treatment. Last but not least, they learn to fight for their rights. They are theoretically classified as Bumiputra, a status signifying indigeneity to Malaysia which carries certain social, economic, and political rights, along with the Malays and the native of Sabah and Sarawak. However, this status is generally not mentioned in the constitution.
Most of the Orang Asli started to move out from the jungle and live in the city, but there is still have minority of them who could not accept the change and still stay in the jungle. The Orang Asli have one thing is the same, is the skill they have. They have skill to build their own home, they have the skill for cooking and farming. In 21st century, the Orang Asli have improved their skill in the agriculture and also developed some new skill for the agriculture and buildings. Now they have enough of knowledge and skill to manage their own rubber, oil palm, and cocoa farms. Hi, I'm Guan Xinjie. Today I'm going to talk about my point of view on Orang Asli in Malaysia. And I'm very curious about Orang Asli. They always work together as a team and they never separate. But they divided into three main groups. And from what I know from the research, Orang Asli believe in animism. They believe in the spiritual.
Hi, I'm Naim Kumar. So my point of view on Malaysia Orang Asli is, to me, I feel like they are less exposed people because they are living in the jungles and inlands. Still, I think they're still living here. But after doing this group assignment, I really got to know more about their beliefs and cultures and stuff. It's quite interesting to learn and understand theirs. But recently they are being more exposed to to the outside world. Like younger generations are like going to schools and achieving higher education. And I feel like it's a progress. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Bali. I'm doing Malaysia Orang Asli, and through this project, I got to know about their living lifestyle and their cultures and stuff like that. So initially, they are believing in animism, and after that, until now, it developed until that Christianity and Islam had been brought into their lifestyle. So I'm quite amazed because they get to mix and match this animism, Christianity, and Islam thing together and live so peacefully. So through them, they match these two things together in their life. So I think it's quite amazing. Thank you.
Hi,
my name is Angkian, and my group and I did a project on the Malaysia Orang Asli. And after the research that we've all done, I believe that the civilization of the Orang Asli should be kept at a moderate pace. They should get their education, but they should also keep their culture and their traditions. This is because that is part of their roots and it is who they are, and that should not be taken away from them. Otherwise, it will be gone.